Hey brothers, who has read Revelation chapter 1 and 2 already? Do you see the difference when you're reading it from the way it's actually written? There's an introduction to a group of 7 churches, and those 7 churches, whatever Jesus is telling them is relevant to their time. And so once you ground it in history first, like you do the rest of the Bible when interpreting any passage of Scripture, we always ask, who was it written to? Why was it written? For example, we don't apply things from the Old Testament to us today because those things are written to people that were Jews under the law of Moses. We are no longer under the law of Moses. That's why we don't read it that way. I know a number of people do. They'll apply Ezekiel chapter 36 through 38 and apply it to our future, but that had something to do with those Jews that were going to come out of bondage from Babylon. So it has something to do with that. It cannot be something to do with a generation that is 2,000 years far removed from the original audience. So just understand that when something's written to a group of people under a certain dispensation, let's say, this is dispensation of the law of Moses, let's say, for example, then it's applying to them. It can't be applying to us. Now, what can we gather from that? We could see how God revealed himself and dealt with those people in that time period and see if it does apply to us in some specific way. And we can only do that when we know the New Testament and know the conditions of the New Covenant. And then we can see if it applies to us or not in the Old Covenant. So that's why it's important to read the Bible in its historical context first before we start trying to make everything that we read in the Bible apply to us. You can't do that. And I know it's usual that people, when they open up the Bible, just reading a verse in the middle of the Bible will make them feel spiritual. Why? Because they don't read the Bible often, so therefore any verse they read, they feel like God is feeding them. Yeah, it could be true. I'm sure God is feeding them, but God is not going to feed them anything different from what he is trying to teach the church in general. So you don't get some special meaning from a verse because you took it out of context just because you don't read the Bible often. That's not a good reason to just take the Bible and make it subjective, and now no one else can understand it that way, only you, because you have some private interpretation of the Scriptures. That's not how it works. When you read the book of Revelation, see who it's written to first, then see how it applies to the New Testament church in general. Okay? God bless.